Let's go straight to from the Young Voices UK organisation and a fine political commentator, Alys Watson Brown. Good evening, Alys.
Evening, Kevin. It's good to be here.
Now I'm going to divert you from what was to be our agenda with this story that literally has just broken. Sean Bailey, I don't know if you remember, was the Tories' mayoral candidate
Yeah.
up against Sadiq Khan. He lost, of course. It took him to quite a close battle. Sean Bailey has since then been the Police and Crime Committee chair at the London Assembly. He's just had to quit because there he is in a party, absolutely bang to rights, enjoying a high old time by the looks of it, right in the middle of the lockdown last Christmas. Now, this is going to be bad for Boris, isn't it? Another headache.
I agree. Definitely another headache. Not a good image, especially if the Conservative Party want to try and gain back a stronghold in London. That's not going to work. Well, at least he resigned, unlike Boris and many of his staff who were there. He's obviously shown some kind of, he's gone with honour in comparison to them, which isn't hard. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care that they all had Christmas parties last year because most of us young people at universities did anyway. The problem is that we all got fined for ours. So I would kind of like my money back, to be honest.
Did you get fined personally?
Yeah, we sort of... Yeah.
So I shouldn't laugh at it. That's outrageous.
No.
Alys, how dare you? No, so what, tell us about the party that got you into trouble.
Well, it was sort of in the November lockdown, and we thought, you know what, let's celebrate a birthday. It was our housemate's 20th birthday, and we thought we'd have, between 5 and 10 friends over. I forget the exact number. That's how memorable it was. And the police, a neighbour called on us, and the police came over and fined us all £100 each, which is a
lot of money
tidy
for a
amount
student.
of money.
Which university were you at, Alys?
I'm at the University of Bristol.
Yeah.
Yes, but that wasn't even the worst part. Another time, which was my favourite story actually to tell about the whole COVID policing at universities, is that the same neighbour saw us buy alcohol. This was just an normal evening in.
I'm not liking the sound of your neighbour very much.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, they saw us buy alcohol. I think it was, a bottle of whiskey and 4 beers or something. And they thought, oh my goodness, they're having a party, and called the police. And the police again turned up at our house to find, I think I was having a nap and everyone else was, watching television. Yet they still think it's necessary to take our passports and our driver's licenses to make sure that we're, going to continue behaving ourselves in the, safe confines of our student house for the rest of the evening.
Jeez. What a strange country we're living in. What's your reaction to the news tonight that unsurprisingly the government has got through COVID passports, vaccine passports for England now? Of course, they've been around for over a month now, both in Wales and Scotland, where they spectacularly haven't worked. So let's give them a go. Let's watch them fail in England now. But they've voted them in. Which means, like nightclubs, venues, indoor venues of 500 or so, you'll have to show your COVID passport. If you go to football, to any event with more than 10,000 people attending, so football matches. So, vaccine passports are really rather draconian measure that restricts our freedom, brings about a kind of medical apartheid. What's your feeling?
Oh, I'm thoroughly against vaccine passports. But I think there was a glimmer of hope, actually. There was obviously talk of 80 Tory MPs voting against the measures. And actually, I thought there was going to be less than that. I thought there were going to be some abstentions, but over 100, I believe.
Yeah, over 100, yeah.
Which is, I'm incredible. And Rishi Sunak himself abstained.
Did he? See, you're bringing me news. I knew it was 103.
Yeah, this is what I've seen on Twitter from a news site. But I mean, that's big news. He couldn't really vote against you can't vote against the government when you're the Chancellor of Exchequer, especially. But an abstention, he doing a bit of a Diane Abbott for the Brexit vote, having a bit of a headache. But that means something. The fact he didn't vote. So there is a glimmer of hope here. But Boris was quite strategic over this vote with separating the vaccine passports with the compulsory jab for the NHS workers and the face masks and et cetera. But I'm thoroughly concerned. I think for the unvaccinated young, this is incredibly worrying. We're already barred from applying for certain jobs at top industries such as McKinsey because they require proof of full vaccination. Even young people who have had both jabs now have to get a booster, which I think they're a bit confused about, considering that there's virtually no risk on our side, and we have, I cannot stand the sort of we're all in this together narrative. We're not. Young people have, it's detrimentally affected by these lockdowns. It doesn't take much research to find the incredibly worrying statistics about mental health. I think it's eating disorder, referral for emergency eating disorders for children doubled in 2020. And the top sort of worry about these lockdown restrictions isn't, work, well, that's second. It's loneliness. We're lonely. All we have was blocked in our four walls. If another lockdown comes over, that's torture. All we have is our phone to remind us of what the real world was like. And these vaccine passports, they've been hanging around like the sword of Damocles for the last 6 months, possibly even a year. And I'm not surprised they have come in. I sort of called that Christmas is going to be cancelled by a convenient variant. And now it just has materialized. But there is a glimmer of hope with these MPs. And I hope that it just continues to expand.
Trouble is, of course, that Labour, as always, voted with the government, so actually the measures did sail through. But you're absolutely right, Alys. That was a significant, much bigger than expected rebellion on the part of the Tory MPs who oppose these continuing restrictions on our freedoms. I had a student on earlier in the show talking about how dull university life had become because of all the COVID restrictions. What is the attitude among your compatriots, people of your age group at your university, to getting vaccinated? Do they feel they need to do it? Because it wasn't so long ago we were being told, you didn't really need to worry if you were in your 20s or younger.
I think the common attitude is, I can't speak for everyone. I haven't done any, large scale analysis on this, obviously. I think a lot of people just want to get the jab so they can go out and go on holiday and they don't have to worry. To be honest, I know no one my age who is really concerned about their health.
It's just for the technical, practical reasons of being able to go to pubs
admin
and
for us. I think, everyone in my close friends, we've all had COVID. Some of us have it twice. I've had it twice. And we're all alive and kicking, and we're just frankly fed up. And the thought of, I think this term, being able to go into university, go on spontaneous nights out, go to the pub, meet our tutors and our course mates has been just so good. It's offered the path to recovery that I think we all needed. And the prospect of it being torn away again is torturous.
Yeah, what's your feeling about Omicron? Have you looked into it much? I keep saying, well, we don't even know what it is yet. The indications are it's a rather mild variant that will only make you sick for a couple of days. So this atmosphere of emergency that the Prime Minister is trying to engender, getting people to queue for 5 hours round the block to get their all-important booster jabs. It looks as if basically we're being protected against the sniffles for a couple of days and a little bit of tiredness and muscle ache and a cough, and then you're all right. So what exactly is the reason for all the panic, do you think?
Well, I think Boris's reactions, the sort of plan B, would be what young people call extra. It is incredibly extra if you look at the actual statistics around Omicron. In South Africa, there were no deaths or hospitalizations from this variant, and their population, I think only 26% of them have a jab. That's nothing compared to the UK, where over 95% of the adult population have antibodies. And one person so far has died with Omicron, not of Omicron. And this person was not a young, healthy, they, as for all accounts, they were old and vulnerable.
We don't know much about them. That's the point.
Yeah.
Boris was very keen to say, oh, look, we've got a death. Omicron is now officially lethal. But for all we know, that death was for someone who's 95 years old and has got cancer or something. You know, we don't know whether Omicron actually killed them or what the circumstances were. So a little transparency, I think, would help. Listen, Alys, you mustn't break the rules anymore. I don't want.
I promise I won't.
I don't want you fined for any more of those illicit parties, even though well, you'll end up in Downing Street at this rate.
Exactly.
Good rehearsals for you. Great talking to you. Thank you so much. Let's talk again soon. That's Alys Watson Brown, political commentator with the Young Voices UK organisation.